Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at some grade 10 functions. The question reads, consider f of x equals 2 divided by x minus 1. So this format follows a hyperbola. So this is a hyperbolic function. Okay, question 4.1.1, write down the equations of the asymptotes of f. So question 4.1.1, to get the asymptotes, all you need to do is you need to first equate the denominator to 0. So the first asymptote, you make your denominator equal to 0. So in this case, x is equal to 0 is going to be one of our equations of the asymptote. And the second one, it's going to be the constant on the constant term at the end. So in this case, we can see here that my constant term at the end is -1. So that's going to be the y. So y equals -1. So those are asymptotes. Those are lines that the graph cannot cross. Question 4.1.2, determine the y-intercept of f. This is a problem. It's an error. Because remember, if you want to solve for y-intercept, we say x equals 0. Now, if you substitute in your equation, you have y equals 2 divided by x minus 1. If you substitute 0 here, then it makes it undefined. So I believe the question is meant to say, determine the x-intercept. So let's solve it as if it were x-intercept. So just quickly, so this is not applicable. So we want to solve for x-intercept. And if you want to solve for the x-intercept, you make y equals 0. So our equation is going to be 0 equals 2 divided by x minus 1. You take the minus 1 over, you have 1 equals 2 divided by x. Now you can cross multiply. 1 times x is 1x equals 2. And that's basically saying x is equal to 2. So x equals 2 is our x-intercept. All right, question 4.1.3, sketch it. So sketch, okay, so 4.1.3, let's quickly just draw out a quick sketch of a Cartesian plane here. You have x here, you have y here. Let's first put in our asymptotes. We have one asymptote where y equals -1. So y is -1, let's just estimate somewhere there, and that's going to be represented using a dotted line. Next, we have the line x equals 0. So the line x equals 0 is the y-axis. Always remember that. So in other words, this function that we're about to draw cannot cross the y-axis. So it can't cross this line here. All right. Next, let's take care of our x-intercept. We know our x-intercept is 2. So 2 is somewhere here. So 2 is somewhere there. Now, the last thing is the shape of this graph. To get the shape of the graph, we look at the number in the numerator. Since that number is greater than 0, remember we say it's the a value. If the a value is greater than 0, then the hyperbola is going to have a graph there and a curve there. However, if the a value is less than 0, then it's going to have a curve there and a curve there. In this case, positive a means we're going to have curves like this. And let's put them in. So we'll have a curve like this. Make sure it cuts at x equals 2. And then lastly, we'll have a curve like so, making sure that these curves do not cross the y-axis, being our asymptote, and also they do not cross that dotted line that we drew in. Okay, let's move on. Question 4.2. The diagram shows the graphs of g of x equals -2x squared plus 8 and f of x equals mx plus c. So it's unknown. R and S are the x-intercepts of g, and t is the y-intercept of g and f. graph f intersects r and t. Okay, so they've given us a diagram here. So the question 4.2.1 reads, write down the range of g. Now the word range means y values. So they want to know for this graph g, let's highlight that just so we're clear. That's g, and that's the parabola, this one here. Okay, so they are asking what values, what y values will be applicable for this parabola. Okay, so if you're looking at this function, if you have to say, okay, maybe y equals 5, will it be valid? Yes, it will be valid. Y equals 6, will it be valid? Yes, it will be valid. Y equals 7, will it be valid? Yes, it will be valid. 8, yes, it will be valid. 9, no, because there is no part of that function that has a value where y is 9. So you can think of it as it caps off. The maximum is 8. The maximum is 8. So that means this function will exist for all y values that are less than or equal to 8. And that's our range. So y is going to be less than or equal to 8, and y is an element of real numbers. Question 4.2.2. They want to know, write down the coordinates of r. Okay, so r is an x-intercept. Okay, now generally if you want to solve for an x-intercept, you make y0 and then you can solve. However, in this case, since it's a 1-mark question, it implies that there is a simpler way. And there is a simpler way. So let me show you. Now a parabola is a symmetrical function. And what I mean by that is, we know that this is our origin, meaning an origin has coordinates 0, 0. Now, if we look at the distance between the origin and S, this distance here, the x value changes from 0 to 2, which means that this distance is 2 units. Now, since r is on the other side, it means that the distance from here to here will also be 2 units. But since it's on the negative x side, the coordinate must then correspond with that. So r will then be negative 2 and 0. Okay, so just for 1 mark, no need for any calculation. And then the last question, question 4.2.3, use the graph to determine the values of x for which f of x is less than g of x. Okay, so let me clear this up. Okay, now let's input this point here. This is minus 2 and 0. And let's try to figure out what this means. So they want to know, where is the graph f of x less than g of x? Let's highlight that, right? So f of x is going to be the straight line. Let's just highlight that in green. So that one and right there. So in other words, they want to know, where is the green graph underneath the yellow graph? Where is the green graph less than, or in other words, underneath the yellow graph? Now, if we look at our function, if we look at our graphs, we can see that it is underneath in this region right here. The green is below the yellow in that region. So all we need to say is 4.2.3, f of x is less than g of x when x is between negative 2 and 0. Okay, thank you everyone. If you like this video, please leave a like, share, subscribe, and if you have any more questions, you can let me know in the comment section below. Thank you.